What's up YouTube, Lad Ladderson here. Today I'm working on my Model A Cowl again. There's a previous video and I'll try and put a link to it, but that's where I did the lower portions. Here you'll see I'm focusing on the rust through that's on the passenger side. It's worked its way down the side of the cowl and it's just an area that can't be repaired easily, so I'm going to cut it out and replace it. Now you see it's roughly about 10 inches. And behind that is a bracing, so it's almost impossible to get to. It's the perfect place for rust through to happen, where I can't patch behind it. I have to cut it out. Just pen holes that have rusted through. Now I know all the metal around it's clean, so I'm just going to take the portion that has the pen holes out. I've got 22 gauge steel here. We're putting that into the 20 gauge steel of the cowl. I've squared it off, and I'm going to use my electric shears to cut that section free. And then I'm going to put a step down in the sheet metal using a brake on my bench. Now press your panel tightly up against the side of the cowl and trace an outline with a Sharpie. Now comes the fun part. I've got a 4.5-inch grinder with a cutoff wheel here, and I'm just cutting literally on the Sharpie line. Now what that does is create a gap between your patch panel and the clips that I use, the bracing blocks that you pinch between the metal, and it gives you a good patch separation to weld in. Once you've got your piece out, then you're going to match your patch panel in that gap and start to brace it in with those clips. Now on the left side, they tack welded it from the factory, so it has some areas that you have to work off with a screwdriver. I find that just prying it loose with the screwdriver until you find the actual welds, and then popping those just by rocking them back and forth. Just take your time, it'll come right off. The metal's extremely old. It wants to come off. Take your grinder again and get at the rust on the underside of the frame on that support brace. After you're done with the grinding wheel, you can switch to a wire wheel brush and get into the pores of that pitted metal. Now match up your patch panel to ensure good fitment. The most important edge is that where the door meets the cowl, the left side. You want to get that step down set up right. Now I've got my patch secured with those bracing blocks, and right now I'm just marking on the step down where the step down has to be cut because it makes the piece very rigid and it's going to have to bend a little bit to conform with the outer shape of the cowl. Alright, so I have more bracings in there now, and this tool you'll see here with the red knob on it has a copper heat sink that's perfect for this, because what it does is create a surface that can absorb more heat from the weld so you don't burn through, lessens the chance of warpage, and also you can see it's a nice, you know exactly where to patch. I got that on Amazon. It's like $25. Incredible tool. I have the first round of tacks in there, and now I'm cutting those relief cuts so the patch can bend with the panel. Alright, here I've done more patching, and the last thing I have to do on that step down is cut the hole for the hinge, the door hinge to slide into. Now also what I've done is I've drilled 1/8-inch holes along those step downs entirely through the patch panel and the sub brace, and then give it a nice plug weld. So there's no way that's coming apart. So here's the last plug weld. And then I'm going to work that edge over with the body hammer. It's just going to take a series of welding, small spot welds to fill all those cuts, as well as fill the seam and the patch panel. And that's it. This is Ladd Ladderson. Thanks for watching. If you want to find the lower patch panel video, go ahead and do that. I'll provide a link.